It's that time again. Time to get it poppin'. Let's get it poppin'. That's the thing. We're doing the thing. It's been a minute. Had some ideas, but just had not had the ability to nail down a time. But I'm once again joined by my on and off again co-host.
Semi-permanent host at this point.
This is Kunx, aka Franklin. Welcome, sir. How have you been doing lately?
Doing pretty good. Can't really complain. Weather's been mostly great outside of it actually hasn't. It's just been rainy and a lot of wind randomly one day last week. But outside of that, it's been nice and sunny. Can't really complain.
The one launcher knocked over. We will rebuild.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, it's awful because the same day where everyone else got tornadoes, we got a lot of wind, and that's when I went to the fair. It was actually pretty nice because I was expecting it to be high 70s, low 80s, but instead it was just nice and very strong breeze. How have you been?
Haven't done anything special like that. It's just been the normal day in day out stuff. But yeah, I've been chilling. I don't really have anything new to report. I have built a new deck though. I guess we'll end up talking about some of the cards, maybe. But yeah, that's what we're here to do. We're here to talk about the new uncommon potential commanders and commons from the new set, which is Tarkir Dragonstorm, which I think is out at this point. I know spoilers already happened. I believe pre-release was this past weekend, maybe.
Yeah, the full set release was it April 11th?
It's not out yet, but basically everybody.
It's relative to when you watch this video.
Yes, basically. So with that said, it is new, fresh off the presses. A lot of us have been playtesting stuff already because through the power of the internet, we can do such things. So there are a couple commanders, I think a couple viable commander options, and then a couple that I just looked at and was like, this is fine. It could be interesting, could be niche, maybe it's nothing. It was just something that piqued my interest. So got a handful of those. I figured we knock those out real quick because they're the things that might be something you could build a deck around, and then from there we'll jump into the Wooburg order, talk about the new cards, the new commons, things that we think we'll see play in decks and or just interesting cards that we wanted to talk about. So with that said, is there any of these that you actually feel are viable that you would want to read off first?
Well, let me just start off on the top of the list with the Starry-Eyed Skyrider. It's a 3-mana 1/3 flyer that says, when this creature attacks, another target creature you control gains flying until end of turn. Attacking tokens you control have flying. That just sounds amazing with hair parents. Just
right?
A whole bunch of flying hairs.
A bunch of flying bunnies. Yeah, that was my thought when I saw this. It was okay, it's mono white. What are you doing with it? Yeah, you could be doing a whole number of token strategies with mono white as well, but hair appearance did seem like the
hair
easy
appearance
thing.
The premier one. Yeah,
exactly.
The premier one.
And then each time that this guy goes, and he's got evasion, so he's just chilling. And then all of a sudden you've got 6 bunnies, flying at people's faces. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, and you're already in white, so you have all the protection spells, so people actually have to try to bolt you.
Right. Yeah, I think that one is interesting. Will it, be competitively viable? I don't know. Nobody's really made a competitively viable hair deck yet. I tried a little bit, but I don't know if what is it going to take for it to get there? I don't know. Is this it? Could be. We'll see, I guess.
I'm pretty sure that some Australian has some plan with it.
Yeah, I'm sure. This one I put on the list. This is one of those ones that I misread, I should say, and thought it was a lot better than it actually is. And it's not that it's terrible, but it's just not as good as I thought it was. Either way, it's Equilibrium Adept. It's a 2/4 dog monk for 3 and a red. It says when it enters, exile top card of your library until your next turn. You can play the card. So I was like, okay, cool. I thought it was repeatable, enters and attacks or something, and I was like, oh, this guy's so good, because then it's he has a second line of text. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, this creature gains double strike until end of turn. And I was just like, bro. Let's just spell sling our way into double striking, and yeah, that's crazy. Not as good as I thought. Unfortunately, wish this was Boros, where maybe you could flicker it and get more value out of it, but not as good as I thought.
The best you got to reset is Sting Scourger, so you just bounce it back to your hand. But even then, that's ugh.
Yeah, it's not good. So unfortunate. I misread it as I said, but I still think it's kind of a cool design space having that on a creature because a lot of times that effect is just on spells. So and
Yeah.
then also kind of having prowess without having prowess, just the second spell. That design space is very common in CDH cards. Whenever somebody takes this second action, you get a treasure, you draw a card, or whatever. Just getting something as a bonus is kind of cool as well. But I digress.
Yeah, just if it's in mono red, I think just you have to ask the question like, is this better than Zada? Am I gonna play this over Zada?
Right. Or even just Malcolm Red. I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
Not Malcolm. Dargo. Just Red Dargo.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But at least this one has a more interesting design space. It's called Shocking Sharpshooter. For 2 mana, it's a 1/3. With reach, it says whenever another creature you control enters, this creature deals 1 damage to target opponent.
It's the commander of the pingers.
Yeah.
Being a pinger itself.
It is. I think I want to like it, but again, rereading, I'm just like, why couldn't this be a common? You already have a Witty Roastmaster and Impact Tremors.
Right.
This should have just been that.
Exactly.
And then, actually, yeah, this should have been a common, just so you could throw it into Arabella. It's already a 1/3.
Right.
It's already the perfect stats.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, hot take. I don't know if you did this on the CDH set review, but every single good card in this set's a 1/3. There's a couple other 1/3s that we're going to talk about in the future, but like Voice of Victor is also a 1/3.
Right.
That card's busted.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, this guy I like in the sense of like it being a pinger in the command zone, so you always have access to a pinger. The problem is that it's not leaning into like Red's. I don't know, maybe
Yeah,
because
like,
I see a lot more it mages, but like there's usually a lot more instants and sorceries going on with Red these days, and the pingers support that. So this is kind of like the opposite side with like the impact tremors and stuff, which is good. But yeah, it's a different strategy. Like I think maybe you're going like Goblin Tribal with this thing.
Yeah, you have to do the mono red just persist for say class loops with it.
Right. Yeah.
Which again, other colors kind of facilitate it a little bit more. Like going with black or green paired up with red really gets you there. But again, if this card was a common, it would be insane.
Yeah, it is. I didn't even realize when I first put this on the list that like it literally should just be a common because it's not any better than anything that's already exists.
No, again, Witty Roastmaster I think hits everyone.
Yeah,
and I mean costs a little bit more, but I guess that's probably why it's an uncommon because of the cost.
Well, and it's got reach. That's the only, and it's like wow, you could literally take the reach off and no one would care.
The next uncommon we have on here is Corey Mountain Stalwart. It's 1 in Boros, so red white, for a 3/3 human monk that says whenever you cast your second spell each turn, this creature deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. So I forgot the name of the card. I know it's not Lightning Helix.
I know
someone's gonna yell at us in the comments for not knowing what the baby Lightning Helix is, but like you said, it's the design space that we're starting to see where you get a benefit for just playing the game and playing 2 cards every turn.
Yeah, and
that's a cool thing. It's every turn, not just your turn.
Right. So yeah, this is encouraging, spell slinging Boros, which, yeah, I guess. You're not gonna. I mean, like you casting 2 spells on other people's turns seems really unlikely. So it seems like you're gonna be doing this once per turn cycle, probably, at best.
Yeah, but Ephemerate at least counts as a spell cast.
Sure. I mean, just saying, like, kind of unlikely, but maybe. But yeah, I mean, the 2 damage to each opponent symmetrically is nice, and like you said, just it being incidental, where it may happen for free, and free value.
Yeah, but
is
I
great,
think I think there's going to be another uncommon that does that a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, I think already you're better off, playing something like that's just generating you tokens or something every turn because
it's so hard to argue to be a good Boros commander in this format when Arabella exists and Gut Leader exists.
Yeah, like this isn't outracing them doing anything. So this next one I actually do think kind of has maybe some competitive potential. I did build it already. I've tested it a little bit. It seems pretty decent. It is Bone Cairn Butcher. It's 1 and Mardu, which is red, white, black. It's a 4/4 demon. It has a new mechanic, new mechanic for the set. It's called Mobilize, and then a number. In this case, it's 2. So whenever it attacks, it makes 2 tapped and attacking 1/1 red warrior creature tokens that get sacked at the end step. And then also has a line of attacking tokens you control have Death Touch. So this guy comes down, 4/4, next turn, or with haste, swinging, makes 2 1/1s. The 1/1s have Death Touch. This guy's a 4/4, so you're not really scared of swinging him pretty much anywhere. My thought was, lots of token generation via spells and or creatures. And then, just swing with a bunch of tokens, and you can continue to swing because people are like, oh, I'll just take the 1, because they're not going to put their nice creature in front of the thing, but, eventually your life total becomes a problem, so, so...
Yeah, I really don't want to block a 1/1 Death Toucher.
Right.
Especially a temporary one that you just can make more of.
Right.
Or, like, if I block it, it doesn't actually die.
Right. Well, and then, like I say, there's other cards that are making tokens, and those tokens stick around. So those just have Death Touch just around all the time. Then you get your couple every turn. There's a couple other cards in the deck that also have Mobilize, so that you can continue to be putting this pressure on people. It seems pretty okay. And then it also has the ability to do, Mirkwood Bat stuff and Nutter's Nightblade stuff, and other life drain effects to where it can start burning stuff out pretty quickly. And then it has white's protection, red and black's removal. Seems pretty okay. Don't know. Obviously he's going to take more testing, but it seems like it could be a pretty solid mid-range, like combat, beats deck, whatever.
Yeah, I'm just happy that we have good 3-color options now.
Yeah, they're starting to get there again.
Yeah, speaking of which, here's one that we should have gotten the full-powered version of it, but instead we get a baby version of it. It's Skirmish Rhino for Abzan, so it's white, black, and green. You get a 3/4 Rhino that has Trample that says, when this creature enters, each opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. So there's been a lot of people already working on the deck. Right now, it's still like the early steps. We've only had it like realistically for like a month to 2 weeks. So there's still a lot of development that needs to get put into the deck. There's a persist combo variant that exists, which I don't think it is doing not terrible. It's doing pretty good. For itself, its pilot is winning fairly consistently between turns 6 and 8. And then there's like another mid-range version, which, again, just drags out the game and grinds people out.
Yeah, I've played against it a few times. It can definitely grind. And unfortunately, it's kind of parasitic in the sense that, like, if there's another pinger or another deck like an Arabella or something that's quickly draining the table, this thing gets that hand. But then also each time it does anything, it's gaining life on top of, like, draining life. So it just stays ahead. And then at that point, it becomes, like, arch enemy, but then it's too late kind of thing. But then it's just, can it finish the game before time? And that's where I've seen it struggle, and people are working on it.
Yeah, that's honestly just where it needs to be at. Is just, can you actually win on time? Which ends up being such a big problem in this format.
Yeah, but I think this one has the potential. It's just a matter of, figuring it out. There's somebody will crack the code. There'll be some variant that will just be like, this is it. I think the deck will work. But
yeah. And finally, there's one more uncommon that we have to talk about, and if not, we'll definitely get yelled at. It's Keru Goldkeeper. So for 1 black, green, and blue, you get a 3/3 flying dragon that says, whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard during your turn, make a treasure token. It also has some little extra bit of text that doesn't really matter. I guess it's 2 soul tie. Exile this card from your graveyard, put 2+1/+1 counters and a flying counter on a target creature, activate only as a sorcery. So that's kind of nice as like a backup plan to just like not a Voltron someone out.
Yeah.
But that first ability to get a treasure whenever something leaves your graveyard is pretty good. So it's already a 1-card combo with Tortured Existence, where you pay the 1 black, a creature leaves your graveyard, you get the black mana back basically. So you can constantly cycle things through. But the thing is, you need a real payoff. Like, sure, you can do that loop indefinitely, but you need something else. So I've seen a whole bunch of people talking about working Flicker combo with it, because it technically is a cost reducer with an Archaeomancer.
Right.
Because when you cast your Archaeomancer, you get the Flicker spell back out of the grave, and you get a treasure back, so now your Flicker combo only essentially costs 1 less mana. So then that paired with like a familiar, you get it reduced down by 2. And if you have like, let's say, Essence Flux, it's just 1 mana.
Like you said, it's cool to be seeing some, actual decent cards, that aren't just 2-color, something that's 3.
Yeah, I think was it Sultai got screwed over because they didn't get an uncommon.
Wow.
Sorry, not Sultai. Jeskai. Jeskai got screwed over because there's no American uncommon that got spoiled.
That concludes what we had selected to talk about as far as Commander fodder goes. The rest of this is all common cards that we thought were worth talking about. So, starting with white, we've got Arisen Sunshield. It is a 3/4 human warrior for 3 and a white, and it says when it enters, exile up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard. That alone is the reason why it's even on the list. But then it also has the additional ability for 1 tap target creature. So a little bit of added utility, I suppose. But yeah, so a little bit of graveyard hate. I mean, 4 mana is not cheap, but being able to cast a 4 mana beat stick that has some utility that, just so happens to fuck up somebody's, future combo, pretty okay.
Yeah, it's all right. The ability to tap something down is really cute. I forgot when's the last time we've seen it. It just reminds me of like the good late 90 days.
Icy manipulator days, like.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I'm gonna tap your stuff.
Yeah, because oh my god, there's that other Arabella list that has a whole bunch of creatures like that, where they just tap down your stuff and you're just like, okay, I guess I won't ever swing at you.
Right.
Or you just move blockers around. But yeah, that's not too bad. The next card we have up next is Bearer of Glory. It's a 2 mana 2/1 that costs 1 and a white that says during your turn this creature has first strike, and also has a pump on it for 5 mana, so it costs 5 and a white. Creatures you control get +1/+1. It's not bad. It's just nice to have another Anthem creature.
It's 4 and a white. You said 5.
Oh, sorry, yeah, 4 and a white.
But yeah, it is exactly like several others that exist with various mana costs and or ability costs and stat lines or whatever. But there's probably like 5 or 6 of them at this point that all do the same sort of thing. In that
yeah, but
sort of
more copies is never bad. Like
right.
If your deck needs it,
exactly,
you just put another one.
Exactly. If you're running white weenies, this is going to help you out. Next one, Coordinated Maneuver. This is a modal instant. There are quite a few of those in this set, but this is the first one we're talking about. For 1 and a white, choose 1. Coordinated Maneuver deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control to target creature or planeswalker, or destroy target enchantment. This is, bad Thraben Charm, basically. But it is another kind of copy of Thraben Charm in the sense that it has 2 of the modes. It just doesn't have the exile a graveyard mode. So
yeah, the single target damage mode isn't as insane, but that's also Modern Horizons 3 card, so it's allowed to be crazy.
Right. And this just as another form of like, okay, you have removal for a creature or you have removal for an enchantment on 1 card and it costs 2 mana. Not bad. Granted, you do need to have your creatures on board for the removal to work, but, it's modal, and, what are you going to need? 2 creatures, usually, most of the time? So
yeah, like, you only need 2-3 creatures, and that's not even a big ask to do.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so I like it. If you're already running Thraben Charm and you can find room for this, especially in white, it's perfect. And then next up is Fortress Kinguard. It's another 2 mana 1/2 dog soldier that says whenever this creature enters, it endures 1. So you can either put a +1/+1 counter on it or create a 1/1 white spirit token.
The sad part is that they're not flyers. I wish that the Endure spirits flew, but
yeah, it's fine. They're the Abzan spirits,
right?
But again, like 2 mana for basically a 2/3 is not bad. It's Honorary.
If you're in a deck that cares about stuff with counters on it, then maybe you put the counter on it. I'm looking at it more for just like in a go wide deck, like an Arabella or something. This comes down, makes you 2 bodies, and it just instantly ups your Arabella burn, and then anything else that's trying to go wide. But yeah, I just pointed it out because it's I think it'll go in a lot of lists. Because people are already playing like Doomed Traveler or Hunted Witness or whatever, and this is doing the same kind of thing.
Yeah, this is going to be great in Gut, Arabella. Any card that has Endure is already good enough for Cutzel.
because that automatically makes it modified for card draw. So yeah,
Oh man, this next card's crazy.
yeah. Lightfoot Technique. It's another instant for 1 in a white. It says put a 1/1 counter on target creature. It gains flying and indestructible to another turn. This is another one of our protection spells that white is notorious for. This one though actually gives the permanent 1/1 counter, where a lot of them will only give you the 1/1 till end of turn, and then giving flying and indestructible is also not bad. A potential way to get in for a Voltron finish, to go over top somebody's head.
Yeah, that or you just needed to just block a flyer temporarily, or
Yep.
There's so many use cases for this card we can't even go over them. Just again, flying and indestructible. I think that's good enough. The fact that the +1/+1 counter is permanent because it is a counter, insane.
Yeah, I think it is one of the better versions. Blacksmith Skill and a lot of them, they're all pretty good in their own ways. But this one does. I like the flying, like you said, because it's modal. You can use it as protection for your guy. You can use it to block a flyer that's coming at you. You can use it to get over someone.
Yeah, no, and this protects a 2/2 from like a Drown in Sorrow.
Can save a lot of creatures from a lot of different removal spells, especially if they're counter based. The next one up is actually part of a cycle, and we will probably not read all of them off, but I did put them all on the list just because they are interesting. This one is the Mardu Devotee. It's one white for a human scout. It's a 1/2. When it ATBs, you scry 2, which out of most of them have some sort of like ETB or some sort of effect, and then they all have the last line of text is the same except for the colors. In this case, it's Mardu, so it's 1 to filter. It's one generic to filter into Mardu, red, white, or black, and you can only activate it once a turn. So it's basically just a way to filter mana, and there's one of these for 5 different of the cycles.
Yeah, I'll wait until I say which one's the best one, in my opinion, but I like that this one just has ETB Scry 2 for 1 mana. I
think that makes it playable by itself.
And then, finally, Tempest Hawk. It's a 3 mana 2/2 flying bird that says whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may search your deck for a card named Tempest Hawk and put it into your hand and shuffle. And you can have any number of cards named Tempest Hawk.
It's another rule break card. Yay! So soon after hairs too. Like Hair Apparent, we're still trying to figure out a way to break. Even Slimes like really haven't been broken either. Like people have been playing with them, but
I think just Simic Slimes is just good enough. Or like
it's not bad.
The Game Wardens.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just like it's
like that. None of them are
busted.
I like that. None of them are actually really busted.
Well, this one feels like it would be because on paper it's like you're just getting every time you attack, you're getting another one and another one and another one and another one, and you're going to overwhelm the board. But like the amount of turns it takes for it to happen, as compared to like how explosive the hairs are, I think that kind of makes it pretty obvious that it's not going to be as good because you're going to play this on turn 2 at the earliest, and so you're not hitting with it till 3 at the earliest, and that's just you're not really pacing anybody out at that point.
Yeah, no, that's why. Yeah, but I think it goes really well into Watcher Spheres, which is an Azorius like cost reducer for flyers. Mm-hmm. In that deck, this thing should be insane. And I would say that if 2 of them hit, you should win that game because you're getting 4, and then from that 4 you get 8, and then you just get all of them basically. Yeah,
I mean, it seems like it could just go ham, but that's exactly how I felt about Hair Apparent. I just wanted to bring this one up because it was, a talking point that a lot of people were chatting about for a while.
But the big thing
I haven't even attempted to try and build it myself, but it's interesting.
Yeah, but the fact that it tutors itself out means that your deck is going to be a lot less worse overall.
It's going to be pretty consistent. I think it's interesting. The issue I find is, it's just finding the perfect commander for it, I suppose. Like you said, maybe having the cost reduction on flyers, or like any of the ones that make like your flyers a little bit bigger could potentially work too. But that actually is the end of the white section. So moving on to blue. First one I have on here is Durgar Island Dragon. It's a 4/4 for 5 and 1 blue. But it has an adventure spell on it, which is called Skimming Strike for 1 and a blue. And it says tap up to one target creature, draw a card. So it's just a little tap your guy down, get a little cantrip, and then the dragon itself, as I said, a 4/4 flyer that has ward too. So decent late game beater. Nice little cantrip. There are a lot of mono blue or is it spellslinger type decks that'll like something like this where it, can draw you a card or can do some stuff for you, but then having something that can help you finish the game if you haven't got your combo or you got stopped. A beater like this can help you kill off the guy who stopped you or whatever. So
yeah, I kind of wish it was like a Tolarian Terror, but it has flying. It's also important to say that on the Avenger side, it's an Omen, so after you're done casting it, it shuffles itself back into the deck.
Oh, I didn't even realize.
Yeah, so it's actually slightly worse because you may never see it again.
That is true. Okay. Well,
hopefully that doesn't change any of the other cards on here that have Omen.
I don't even know. I didn't even pay attention, but hey, you learn something new every day.
Yeah, I mean, reading the card explains the card.
Usually.
This next card I'm super excited about. It's Focus of Mind. For 5 mana, so it's 5 in blue. We have an instant spell that says this card costs 2 less if you've casted another spell this turn. Draw 3 cards and then discard a card. So on paper, that sounds terrible. But whenever I play any deck that has Merchant Scroll, this is a card that I always wanted to tutor for. It never existed. We never had like an instant speed draw spell.
Yeah.
Now we finally have one.
And if you do this on somebody else's turn, maybe you have something that triggers because that's the design space that we're seeing a little bit of. So you do this on someone's end step, and you get your trigger, for a flurry or whatever it was on one of those other cards. Not that those cards work in this deck because it's blue, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, because because this is the exact card that I always wanted in Abdo, and if I draw it in Abdo, it only costs 3 mana instead of 5.
Right. Yeah, that's huge. 3 mana, draw 3 is not bad at all.
Yeah, and like the discard 1 is fine.
Right, who cares?
That's whatever. Who cares?
When you're trying to end the game, that doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
So next one is Highspire Bellringer. This is for 2 and a blue. It's a 1/4 Jin Monk with flying, and it says the second spell you cast each turn costs 1 less to cast. So it's becoming a bit of a pattern here. They want you to cast spells in this set, and you get benefits from casting more than 1 in a turn. And this supports that. If you are a spell slinging kind of deck, or you're doing a lot of cantripping, I know Malcolm Kedis can be that kind of deck. I don't know that I would run this card, but you know what I'm saying? A deck like that where you're casting a bunch of spells, maybe 2 or 3 per turn, drawing and discarding and doing all kinds of stuff, this might be beneficial, but...
Yeah, getting the discount on this one spell it's not terrible. Like, you still have to remember the scope of the format that are only commons, but just the fact that it's a 3 mana 1/4 flyers is great. Like, it's a good blocker.
That too. Decent body.
Up next is the card I didn't expect to actually ever see. Ringing Strike Mastery. It's a 1 mana aura that says enchant creature. When this creature enters, tap enchanted creature. Enchanted creature does not untap during its controller's untap step. Enchanted creature has pay 5 generic mana, untap this creature. As soon as I saw it, I knew that this goes into Weavers. It's just another super expensive immobilizing ink, but it's another immobilizing ink.
Right. Yeah, you're smarter than I am because I didn't even see that. I was just like, well, this is interesting because it does tap and untap shenanigans. So I knew that there was something there. I just didn't place exactly where it goes.
Yeah, because in Weaver's oh no, I have to hit 6 mana off my lands. Okay, this is the easiest thing in the world. Thanks.
True. Yeah. It also in a pinch can be a removal. If you are playing Weavers and the Dargo just will not stop hitting you.
Yeah, and it's only
tap it down.
What is it? Yeah, it's only 1 mana, so the cost benefit, there really is no reason to not run it in Weavers, at least. I saw another deck play Paralysis, which is a black version of this card.
Yeah.
It's not bad, and 5 mana is really rough for some people to get around. So you pretty much just remove, basically just pacify their commander for just 1 blue.
And that was my original selling point for it was just most people aren't paying 5 mana on tap. They're just going to leave their thing. Unless they're a deck that can just sack stuff at will, that thing is just going to sit there and do nothing.
Yeah.
Now, the only issue is if it has passive things on it, then, well, it's still able to do that. It's not turning off all of its abilities, so you do have to keep that in mind. You're not really removing the thing if it's got a blanket. Every time something dies, it pings. Like, you've effectively done nothing. They don't care. But, yeah. Seems okay. Next one up is Sibsig Appraiser. It's for 2 NA blue, a 2/1 zombie advisor. When it enters, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them in your hand and the other in your graveyard. There's already, I don't know, 2 or 3 effects at least that do that exact same thing. It's just selection. It's nothing special, but I thought, we have cards like this that are played. Certain decks do like putting stuff in the grave instead of, scrying. So this on a body doesn't seem terrible.
We have had a whole bunch of these type, spells slapped onto a creature. The 2/1 body's not the best.
The only reason I even brought it up is because it was like, okay, it's a little bit more selection on a body, and if you're in a deck that is going to either flicker and or reanimate stuff, this is just more, another piece, so.
And then up next, Teamer Devotee. It's 2 mana, it's 1 and a blue, for 3/3 defender that lets you filter 1 generic mana into Teamer colors, so that's green, blue, red. This one's a sass.
This is another one in the cycle. The white one, definitely better than this one.
Yeah, this one, having defender has a 3/3, it's like, okay.
It's awful.
It doesn't even have a good stat line of 4/1 defender, because I know Teamer cares about fears and having things over 4 power.
Right. But yeah, I just, figured we'd talk about each one of them as we go, because the cycle is interesting at least. If you're absolutely dying for mana fixing in those colors, I suppose. But last but not least, out of the blue here, is Unending Whisper. It's 1 blue for a sorcery. It says draw a card. Also has Harmonize, which is a new mechanic. For 5 and a blue, you can cast the card from your grave for its Harmonize cost, and you can tap a creature you control to reduce the cost by X, where X is its power, and then it gets exiled. So it's a new kind of flashback, but it has kind of a...
Yeah, it's like Convoke flashback.
Right. So, 1 mana, draw card. I've seen people play it. There's that 1 blue spell that I know Gator plays. It's 1 blue, draw a card, and then, you can flash it back, draw a card again. So this does the same sort of thing. You do need a high power creature on board for it to be cheap again, but you might be able to recast it for 2 or 3, so draw another card. Is this great? No, it's not the best thing in the world, but it will see play in some decks that you need another cantrip.
Yeah, I mean, he'll probably end up playing in Shadow Spinner just to draw, actually, no. Shadow Spinner, you get more for just swinging it. Never mind. Ignore what I said.
There's some deck out there that will not have a problem playing with this, though.
Yeah. Yep, and then that's it for all the blue cards. So starting with black is actually the Devotee I think is probably the best, but not for anything on the text box itself, but for deck building. It's an Abzan Devotee. It's a 2 mana 2/1 Dog Cleric that has the Devotee filter clause, so you take 1 generic and filter it into either white, black, or green. It also says for 2 generic and a black, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. So not only do you get it back, it also helps you filter and get you the green that you need for the Skirmish Rhino deck.
I would say that between this and the white one, they're both on fairly equal grounds for me. I like the Scry too on the white one, but I'm also more of a Mardu player over Abzan. But
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, again, because this one, from what I've seen, how people are building Skirmish Rhino, it's mostly black, white, splashing green.
Yeah. So
this allows you to just filter into green.
Yeah, it's not bad. It is definitely better than the blue one for sure. Next one up is so it's Alesha's Legacy. For 1 and a black, it's an instant. It says target creature you control gains Death Touch and indestructible till end of turn. It's another haha gotcha moment. You're not going to kill my guy because he's indestructible now. Or you blocked and now I'm killing your thing because he has Death Touch and indestructible. So
yeah, I don't know how I feel about this over just Toxin Analysis or any of the Grave Flickers. It's
not saying better. It's just another option, and I do know that there are some decks that probably rather have something like this than the Grave Flicker because they want the combat trick of I get through now, or putting it down so that their thing doesn't die when they block. And
or you turn Crypt Rats into like a 3-mana board wipe.
Right, exactly. So there are decks that are going to want something more like this than the Grave Flickers, but I agree. Is it better? No, but it's just another piece of interaction that I've seen.
Yeah, it's great to have options.
Yeah.
Yep. And then next up is Cruel Truth. It's a 4-mana instant that costs 3 generic and a black. Surveil 2, then draw 2 cards. You lose 2 life. Feels like this card already existed.
It's similar to Read the Bones, but Read the Bones is Scry instead of Surveil, and I think costs 1 less mana, or is it the same?
No, I think Read the Bones is
3
mana.
Yeah. I only put it in because I was like, well, Surveil 2, draw 2 seems fine, and I couldn't recall if there was one that did the Surveil thing, which it might be important. Also, just extra card draw is never bad, even though 4 is kind of a lot. Like, I don't know, maybe you've got a Culling the Weak, and this sitting around on your Somebody Needs End Step. Bam, bam. Yeah. Okay, so last one here might be affected because of the Omen thing that I did not pay attention to. It's Feral Deathgorger. This is 5 and a black for a 3/5 dragon, but has the adventure Dusk Sight, which is 1 and a black. It is an Omen. Put a 1/1 counter on one target, up to one target creature, and then draw a card. The 1/1 counter probably doesn't matter. It's mostly there. Let's 2 mana draw a card, make something a little bit bigger. That seems fine, but as you said, that shuffles away. So, in a pinch, it's a nice little cantrip in late game. It's a flying Death Touch and ETB exile 2 cards from a graveyard. It's expensive, but
yeah, the creature mode is whatever. The Omen side of it's not that bad. It's like 2 mana cycle, put a +1/+1 counter. It's like, okay.
So, like, I didn't realize the Omen thing. If it didn't have Omen and it just went on an adventure, I think it would be better in the sense because then you can later on, boom, exile 2 cards from a graveyard because that guy's shit is scary. And then I have this flying Death Toucher that can, like, block anything.
Yeah, and before we move on to red, there's one other card I want to talk about, Worthy Cost. It's 1 mana, it's a 1 mana sorcery. As additional cost, sacrifice a creature. Exile target creature or planeswalker.
It's exactly like the one that came out in Duskborn, which I also said was good. But then people were like, it's not good because it's a sorcery. But same idea where you just sack a creature and it's exile, which I thought was good for 1 black.
I think better Bone Shards is better. Like,
yeah,
there's people playing Bone Shards somewhere.
Exiling is just better. Period. It's like if somebody's got a creature that could be a win con that could be potentially recurred, get rid of it. Get it out of there. And at sorcery speed, yeah, that sucks if they do pop off, like when you don't have this in your hand on someone else's turn. But like if it's your turn, you draw this, and you see that they have the potential, you just get that shit out of there, So
yeah,
I don't see it as being bad, but being sorcery is limiting, and I see that's why people don't play sorceries a lot. But sometimes you play them. I don't think it's bad. I didn't put it on the list because I had gotten argued against it with that Dustborn set. So.
Oh, it's actually here. Yeah, we actually have it in the red section. That's really funny. Good thing to know that we have all the same thought.
Oh. Yeah, it was when I was editing, probably I accidentally slammed it down there. But, yeah, moving on to red. We've got, first up is Devoted Duelist. It's another weird pinger. It's a 2/1 for 1 in a red. It's a Goblin Monk. It has haste. It also has Flurry, which is the second time you cast... Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. So, if you're on all the other pingers, and you're doing things to make those pingers ping, this guy's going to ping again when you've done the second ping and another round of pinging. So you're going to hit somebody with something, then you're going to ping everybody, then you're going to do another thing, untap, ping everybody again, and then this guy's going to ping again, and then... You're going to keep going, and you're going to ping, and you're going to ping.
Yeah, but he only pings once per turn.
I know.
That's
it's just stupid. Like
I don't know how many other pingers we have. I think there's the Goblin one that pings everyone simultaneously more than this thing.
I don't like it, but I also don't hate the fact that it's just incidentally going to do a damage here and there, which sometimes makes a difference. If you're looking for critical mass of that type of effect. It's also a 2/1 with haste, so it might come down and just incidentally be able to swing into some people, do a little bit of damage. Not terrible.
Make a little love.
Get down tonight.
Yep. All right, so the next card is another Flurry card. It's a Jeskai Devotee. 2 mana, 2/2 flurry. So whenever you cast your second spell, every turn, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and then has 1, and then filter into Jeskai, which is red, white, and blue.
So this one's alright. This one has really shitty prowess.
It's just really bad prowess.
Yeah, really bad prowess. It only happens once.
Yeah, is it worth playing? I don't know. Your Jeskai deck probably has a way to get its colors more efficiently than this.
Yeah, I feel like there's
really
mana filtering rocks that would just be better than this card. We haven't seen the green one yet, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this is probably the worst one.
No, I think the Teamer one's the worst one. The 3/3 Defender.
No, you're right, but this one is like right on top of that because it's not good.
I mean, they're fighting for bottom of the barrel.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. Next one up is Seize Opportunity. This is for 2 and a red. It's an instant. It has the modality of choose one. Exile top 2 cards of your library until your end of your next turn. You can play those cards, so more impulsive draw, which red has been getting more of lately, finally. And then the second mode is up to 2 target creatures each get +2/+1 until end of turn. So this could be a nice little combat trick to get a couple bigger beaters through, or it's impulsive draw. And there are some decks that have actually wanted more of this that came out in the past, and the more that we get of this, the more that those decks may actually become viable, because I know Araxa was one of them that I had made. It was from Doctor Who, the mono red alien thing that made more alien warriors, like if you swung whenever you cast from exile, blah blah blah. So like it wanted more of these, and there just weren't enough. And like the more we get, the more it might actually become like a semi-viable deck. But I don't know.
What I like about it is that it's until the end of your next turn, so you can slap it down whenever.
Yeah, and sit on them. And you can do it on somebody's end step, so you have them available on your turn right then. So yeah, it's pretty decent. I really like this next one.
Oh, I love this next one. I already went out to my LGS and got like a couple copies of these, but I still need one in foil.
Nice.
It's Shock Brigade. It's a 2 mana, so 1 and a red, 1/3 Goblin Soldier with a menace and mobilize 1. So it's already the best creature type in this format, in my opinion. A goblin. It has menace, so it's gonna get through. It's a 1/3, so it triggers Arabella. It makes a soldier for Arabella.
Yep.
And it makes a dude for a gut. Like, it's amazing. And if you ever need to rebuild with Dargo, you have 2 bodies to sack.
And notably, it makes that body every turn, and the body lasts to the end step, so you can sacrifice.
Yeah, it's not like Myriad where they just die in the middle of combat. They stay until your end step.
So they're hanging out, and if you have any sort of anything that says sack a creature, do something, they're there for you. So yeah, it's pretty versatile.
Yeah, there's probably, in my opinion, it's probably the best comment of the set for this format. At least.
Definitely one of, for sure. I think it sees a lot of play. Yeah. Next one.
I got this one because this is my bit.
Oh yeah.
Next is Storm Shriek Feral. It's another one of these Omen Dragons that costs 4 and a red for a 3/3 flyer. The creature side, which is the boring half, is flying with haste, which not bad.
But fire breathing.
A little expensive for 5 mana, but it has fire breathing. Oh, I just read it. It's worse fire breathing. It's 1 and a red fire breathing. Not just red. It's 1 and a red.
It's pretty bad, but you know.
Yeah, but you're gonna play it for the Omen side. The Omen side is a throw possibility. Sorry, it's not throw possibilities. Throw is instant speed. This is a Tormenting Voice. So 2 mana, discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards.
And then it gets shuffled back in. Yeah, it's bad. As I said, I did these based off of them being adventures and omens, and I had no idea that even existed until you mentioned it today, because I didn't read that far. So, I mean, guilty as charged. All right, so last one. Another one I actually like quite a bit. Underfoot Underdogs. For 2 and a red, it's a 1/2 Goblin Warrior. More Gobos. When it enters, make a 1/1 red Goblin creature token, just like many others that we have that we are already running in several decks. Then this one also has the added clause of pay 1, tap it, Target creature you control, power 2 or less, can't be blocked this turn. So perfect for like an Arabella list. It's going to come in, it makes you a body. There's 2 bodies right there that are triggering Arabella, and you can also later tap to make Arabella unblockable so that she can get through without dying or any worries, and you're still going to get your triggers. So very good. I think it could see play in Gut and other places like that too that are making tokens and doing the thing.
Yeah, I don't know if we would play it in Gut because it's already 3 mana. That feels expensive, and Gut herself never swings. Yeah, the token generation's not bad for Arabella. No, this card's great because again we were talking about the very first card on this list that just like taps down a blocker for you.
Right.
Just makes Arabella unblockable.
Right. Well, and there was another. There's been other creatures that we did run in Arabella that were like not goblins that did this thing, and being a goblin, it meshes with more of the other goblins that are in there, and then makes running Goblin Matron even that much better because you can just get another thing that can do another thing. So yeah, it just adds.
Yeah, Goblins is the best type. Is this the best creature type in this format? Next to Pirate.
So moving on to the last color, green, green, green. What's up first?
Yes. So the first one is Anuk Wayfinder. It's a 2-mana 1/1 dog scout that says when this creature enters, mill 3 cards. Then you may put a land card from among them into your hand. If you don't, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. It's okay.
Yeah, nothing fancy here. The only reason I put it on the list is because some decks, like I was thinking, not so much Sivrus, but I had like that sort of deck in mind. Where you don't mind throwing shit into the bin.
This goes in the Slime Cutzel list.
That's a good spot for it for sure.
That is literally what this card is for.
Well, and then it can get you a land. It mills cards, which some decks want. They want something that
you mill your slimes.
Right, and then you're getting
a land. Your land.
And then if you don't get the land, you put a 1/1 counter on this guy, and he's a 2/2, and he's done his job.
Yeah,
easy. Nothing fancy, but
yeah, the next card's a lot better in my opinion. Like so much better.
This next card is Heritage Reclamation, which is another version of I think it's Return to Nature. It's one and a green. Ooh, it's an instant. It says choose one, destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, or exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard and draw a card. Easy peasy. Yeah, very good.
It literally just Return to Nature, but it has cycle on it.
Right. Yeah. Slightly power crept Return to Nature. You might run both. Not bad.
Next. And then next is Sultai Devotee. Probably number the exact middle one of these devotees.
Yeah,
it's a 2-mana 2/1 with Death Touch.
Yeah,
that's it.
And then does the Sultai filtering
and does the filtering thing. Yeah, like green's probably the one color that really does not need the filtering.
Need it. Yeah, and I can see this being the worst one because of that fact. And even still, I like this better than the red one.
At least it has Death Touch,
and I like it better than the blue one.
At least it can swing.
Black and white are right there at the top, and then there's this thing, and then the rest are just trash.
Yeah, like, oh my god, they're just so bad. If you need the color filtering, run them. If not, stay the hell away from them.
And you might need the color filtering more in the future if we do get more, 3-color options. They are printing 3-color cards in common slots as well, which I didn't put any on this list, but they do exist. There's I think a handful of cards that got printed.
There's 5 of them. They all have the same cost of hybrid. The 2 generic hybrid of color. I don't know exactly what to call them. It's like it's just Scarecrow.
It was the Scarecrow King. Oh my god, is that what he was called? No, Reaper King. Reaper King.
Yeah, it's a Reaper King cost.
Yeah. All right. Well, last one here we got for green, Undergrowth Leper. It's 1 and a green for 2. It's a 2/2 cat. Has vigilance. It has pay 1, sack it, destroy target artifact or enchantment.
This is just a reprint of a voracious varmint.
There's that, and there's Caustic Caterpillar and a few others. This is redundancy for that plan. Otherwise, it is a 2/2 with vigilance, which is nice because it can attack and block and then be sacked when it needs to be sacked. So It's another option.
Like I said, just Voracious Varmint because Cossack Caterpillar is 1 to cast and 2 to activate. The Leopard and Varmint are 2 to cast, 1 to activate. Both of them 2/2 with Vigilance.
Yeah.
So I love those cards.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with having another one.
Although what they should reprint is another copy of Cathar Commando. We need more Cathar Commandos.
Yes.
We need more 3/1s with flashes.
Yes. So there are multicolor cards in the set, most of which were not common. As we said, there were 5. I didn't see any of them as being really worth talking about. I don't know if there's one that you want to highlight, if you're into any of them.
I'm looking over them. I think maybe the Monastery Messenger, which is the Jeskai one, which is you can either play 6 mana into it or pay Jeskai into it. It's Flying Vigilance for 2/3. I think that's the only reason why I like it. And then it says when this creature enters, put up to 1 target non-creature, non-land card from your graveyard to the top of your library. So, actually, 3 mana 4 is Pseudo Archaeomancer is not the worst.
There wasn't anything that I was like super excited about. It was mostly just like there were some three mana commanders, or 3 color commanders, I should say. But they are printing those common cards that are 3 color and that have that support, like the Devotees. So I think eventually there might be a world where we have a few 3 color lists, that actually work. Maybe finally Rocco works, and finally some of those older ones work, and then these ones that we got, maybe get better, or they print some new ones and we get more support. We'll see.
Oh, hopefully.
So I have a couple left from colorless, and these aren't super exciting, but they are interesting enough. The reason I'm interested in the first one is because I do have a colorless deck, and this one fits right into it. It's called the Boulderborn Dragon. It's a 3/3 for 5 generic. It's artifact creature dragon. Has flying and vigilance, and whenever it attacks, surveil 1. This goes right into Fleshraker. It's right in line with other cards that are in the deck. It's a flying vigilant beater, so it's going to put out some damage. It's also going to surveil and give me that card selection. And that has been the thing is, I either need to get to lands or I need to get to the other piece of the combo. And everything you can do to like increase that engine and how fast you can accelerate through your deck is going to help. So I think this one, spot on for that deck. Other decks that might want, graveyard stuff, potentially helping to fill their graveyards might play this, but I don't know. I'm a little biased in why I liked it.
Yeah, no, that works. That makes sense for you over there. Because I think this other decks have like better ways to surveil and filter, and when you're in colorless, beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, I mean, my next one is basically for similar reasons. It's the Jadecast Sentinel. It's 4 mana for a 1/5 with reach, which I think that alone is a good selling point. Just being able to block most flyers. But it does have the ability for 2 and tap it, put target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. Well, if one of your things gets removed and you really need that in your deck, put it back in. If somebody is running some sort of combo or has, an Archaeomancer in their graveyard, well, putting it back in the deck might be better than leaving it in the graveyard, depending on the deck that they're playing. So a little bit of grave manipulation is never terrible. And also, just a 1/5 reacher, that's pretty crazy. I didn't really realize it had reach to begin with. So...
Yeah, again, for colorless decks, just the fact that it's a 1/5 reach is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably some way to give it to like pump its power by a little bit. Yeah, I think if it was a 2/5, it would be a lot better. But again, 1/5, just a 5 toughness is great.
Yeah. And it's not like a defender or something, which is nice.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's everything that I had on my list. I think that is a pretty good representation of what was out there that is probably going to see some play. Again, your guys' mileage may vary, but we went through at least I went through the cards with a pretty fine-tooth comb, and it was like, well, there's not much else here I'm seeing, that is probably going to see much play. So
yeah, and we went through all the cards that we talk about on the morning conversations or the Common Theory Discord.
Yeah, I think it was pretty obvious which ones we're probably going to see play and which ones weren't. So
yeah, just order your Shock Brigades now.
Yes, that card is spicy. But yeah, Kunx, thank you so much for joining me and letting me get this out. I still need to actually get the CDH version done. I've got a list put together. I just got to get the guys together so I can get a recording done. But
again, voice of victory, best rare in the set.
Pretty much. That's already what I've said as well. But
yeah. I just wanted to get this out on this side because so I was talking to Gator about this, and he just asked me, he's like, "Oh, what activate abilities do you worry about?" I'm like, realistically, none, because any important activate ability, you still need a spell in order to win, unless if it's Sisei. And if you're losing to Sisei, you were gonna lose anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, this is what we got for the best cards from the set that you should probably be seeing in competitive pods sooner than later. Set will be fully released by sometime right around when you see this video. So
it gets fully released April 11th.
Yeah. So this should be at your ears prior to that, but yeah, you'll be able to get your hands on these cards very soon. And let us know in the comments below if we got it wrong, if there's something we missed, if you think something we rated highly is just absolute dog shit. Let us know. We like to hear it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the Common Theory. These guys run a nice little podcast talking about the competitive side of the Pauper sphere. So check them out. But yeah, from there, we're going to sign off. We'll see you guys again soon when I figure out the next thing to talk about in the Pauper sphere. Until then, have a good time. And
later,
we'll see y'all next time.